Do you have a picture of your farm?
No, let's see.
I'm just curious. So I thought, well, maybe we'd tie in a picture when you're talking to farm, but.
Well,
Did they ever do one of those aerial?
oh yeah, that's where we got our picture. We, I'll tell you, that's up to my sister's house, them pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We was just up there yesterday cleaning, getting her house in shape so she could come home. She's in Meriter Hospital up in Madison. So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, she was med-flighted from Darlington up to Madison at Meriter Hospital. I just talked to her this morning, shortly before you come in. She's doing pretty good, but yeah, and all that. Well, I can tell you a lot of things that probably shouldn't mention about that old C.F. Thompson. He was something else.
You know, I knew he was in Argyle a long time, and everybody said he ran a tight ship.
Oh, God. Yeah, I remember they were going to have prom. Of course, you know, everything was held down to Phillips's Hall, you know, there was no gym or anything. So, anyway, noon hour, the girls come back with their hair and pin curls and turbans and going to look nice for the prom. He stood up there in front and hollered and yelled and just give them girls particular hell for coming back to school like that. Well, they were going to get ready for the prom. By gosh, Bobby Lundy, he gets up. Everybody walks out, but there's 4 of us that didn't walk out on strike on him.
Really?
Yeah, they walked out, and of course they had their prom down there in Phillipson's. And Monday come, kids wouldn't come back to school. They still on the strike. They wouldn't come back to school. And by golly, Kelly Levasseur, he worked over in Osby's garage, and Ralph Peterson, they were on the school board, and I can see them yet walking up the south walk up to school. I was in a classroom over up there at that time. And by God, they walked up there and went right up to C.F. Thompson and fired him. They fired him. So then Pete Morgan, he took over then. Yeah, he was out. They fired him. He was out because the kids wouldn't come back to school. Well, then after Pete got up there, the kids come back to school.
So about what year was this?
Well, that was in 1949.
Okay.
You know. But I
And was Pete Morgan a teacher at that time?
yeah, he was teacher and assistant principal.
Okay.
Yeah. Pete, he was a good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked old Pete.
So the proms must have been held on a Friday night if
Yeah,
the girls wanted to.
yeah, he wanted to be.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure it was on a Friday night.
Okay.
But
Do you remember any of the bands that played at prom? Did you go to proms?
no, I never went.
Never went to a
I was
prom?
scared of the girls in them days. I never went to a prom,
Never went. Okay.
but there was usually a band that played old time music, you know.
Yeah.
Did you ever play baseball in town here with some of the?
I worked.
You worked on the farm, yeah.
No, I mean, I remember laying out the football field down there with that shake the barn, or, you know, lime in the bottom, putting down the goal lines, and cross ones, you know. And I usually had, can't, my classmate with me, Isley, Daryl Isley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we worked together. And then after he graduated, well, I was still in school, you know, and then I got Ralph Williamson with me, and he worked with me all the time. We'd put out them markers. Yeah, I had, you know, the ball diamond, you know, that had to be seated in, and I'd borrow a drag from Howard Pennison up, or just across the road. And I pulled it with my old truck, round and round and ground, and put that rye in to get a little seeding going, you know, to cover up the bare spot.
Was that the ball field down
Yep.
here in the park?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I see Bruce, he walking by every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, he gets out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Arleigh, what was your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject. Oh, golly. I hated English. We had a teacher, oh, she was an Avon lady.
Oh,
Oh, God, stink that Avon stuff, you know. God. I hated English. And I went up to Pete Morgan and I said, God, I want to get out of that class. I said, I think I took up algebra or something. Her name was Miss Waterman. Oh, God. Yeah, we had a teacher, English teacher by the name of Mr. Wolf. And he problem. I can remember Larry James walking up to his house in Harker's up here, knocking on the door, and he told him, "You be out of town by sunup." You couldn't do that nowadays. He took his big old Pontiac, and I don't know what ever happened to him, but he was.
well, did you have a favorite teacher? One you felt really kind of prepared you for life after high school?
Oh gosh, favorite teacher. Well, we had Miss Kemp. She was a citizenship teacher, and she said one day, "No chewing gum in my class. If you're gonna chew gum, we all chew gum." So, Gilbert's went down to the gumball machine down here at Phillipson's and got out 38 balls of gum. Come up to school and handed them out, you know, and everybody chewing gum. Here comes CF. "You're chewing gum," and you're right. You swallowed it, you know. Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
I guess kids weren't much different than,
No.
doing stuff like
but
that.
I can remember that Miss Kemp, the war was going on, you know, and her husband was in service, and of course everybody was watching her by the paper. We had this little newspaper, current events, they call that little newspaper. Of course you could keep track of what the war was doing, you know. And of course her husband was in service. Different times would come in and tears were rolling.
As far as you know, did he come back? Did he come home?
Who was this?
Mrs. Kemp's husband, did he make it home?
I
Don't
couldn't
know.
tell you, 'cause, well, I graduated and,
So you were in school when the war ended.
yep, yep.
So what was that day like?
Oh, gosh. I know there was quite a celebration in town here anyway, when the war was over. Well, I know someone went on a good drunk.
Did,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
did any of your good friends have to go to war?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's why I couldn't get in. I stayed down to Milwaukee 3 days and I had a heart murmur from my rheumatic fever. And I could not make the grade to get in. So, that's why I never got in service. Of course, all my friends, they had to go, you know, and I got to stay home. And I know Jake Pfister, he was awful mad at that and me because I didn't have to go. Well,
Now, was that for the Korean War or
No.
World War?
Well,
Korean War.
yeah.
Korean War, yeah.
I guess we should specify which war we're talking about
Yeah,
here, yeah.
The Korean War, and then you had, what was the other war later on?
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yep, that one.
That was our era.
Yeah.
Huh?
That was our era.
Yeah. Where Al Wilson, you know, lives out in Puddle Dock area. He's into Burma's about every afternoon. Of course, he's one of those Vietnam veterans, you know. He got into that Agent Orange, you know, and yeah, that is a war that should never have been.
Get through your question?
Yeah, I did.
Well, you had enough yet, Arleigh?
Oh, I'm still can go.
Yeah.
Oh, I can remember Ada Mae Anderson and Ada Mae and what was her name? Ada Mae and her sister, Mary Lou, and how they would, they're cheerleaders, you know, and how they would be up, and of course the band would be up on the stage, and they'd go through their calisthenics, you know, and oh God, they were good, them girls. That's A.P. Anderson's daughters, you know, up in from church up here. They were good. I don't know whatever happened to them girls.
So they were cheerleaders for like the basketball team, or?
Yeah, basketball team up in Phillipson's. Yeah.
Okay.
Was there much room for spectators up at Phillipson's?
Well, be up on the stage, and then that'd be the, as soon as you get in the door there, and be towards the east windows up there. You know. Well, that was the only place for anything to go on in town here. You know, I remember being in school there, where I had dances up there, you know, and of course there's going to be a basketball game going up there. And I remember we carried water from down at the boiler room, off the boiler down in Phillipson's, carried them up them steps and carried them up the other steps, and throw that boiling hot water all over the floor and to get the wax off so they could play basketball. Oh yeah. Yeah, it'd be Darrell Isley and me, we had to do that. You had to get that off, get that wax off. Then we